Hello, everybody. This is Mark Zweig, and I'm here with my buddy Eric Howerton.
Good morning.
Good morning, and this is another episode of
Big Talk About Small Business.
Now he says business in there. I don't know. Why do you do that?
It's just trying to be cool, I guess.
Part of the fight. You don't need to try to be
Thanks,
cool.
man.
You are cool. Okay?
Everybody hear that?
Everybody? Okay. Not that my proclamation means anything.
By the way, the other day when you made your LinkedIn post, which I appreciate, about my birthday party and stuff, but you said that I was officially retired from White Spider.
Is that not true?
No, it is. But I mean, like a lot of folks have been coming up and saying, so I heard you're retired now. What are you doing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to get that all the time, too. It's like, I just have 6 other jobs.
Yeah, right.
You're in the same boat. That's just one.
I'm not playing golf. I'm retired.
No. We also have a guest here with us today, and this is one of my former students, Jacob Rhea.
What's up, Jacob?
Hey, how are you?
Good, man.
So Jacob is one of those guys. He's very unassuming. Okay. He sat out there. I had him for 2 classes, and my first class with him was last fall. And, you know, he's out there in the audience, and I don't remember if it was after class or whatever. He told me about this little business he has. Mm-hmm. And so he and I got together, and I learned more about it. And I was absolutely blown away by this guy. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you.
So unassuming, hanging out in class, just, not talking much, not causing any ruckus.
Exactly. But when you see what he's done with what he's done in an area that so many other people have done poorly, it's really impressive. So, Jacob, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do that is making you a whole bunch of money?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I buy and resell stuff online. It can be Facebook or eBay mainly, but I normally just go to garage sales. I'll go to thrift stores and estate sales and pawn shops and try to buy stuff at a reasonable margin to where I can make some good money.
So let's just cut right to the chase. The first 4 months of this year, what kind of revenue did you do and how much did you net on it?
I don't know about first 4 months, but I'm doing
Okay, so far this year, I know you know your numbers well.
We can pull it up really quick. I'm not 100% sure, but it's definitely a lot more than it was last year.
That's the main thing that matters, right?
Yeah. I think I was doing $5,000 to $6,000 in sales a week. I'm not quite sure I'm on target to do 350,000 in sales for the whole year, and then 200 to 250,000 in net sales after shipping and all that stuff, and then probably 150 to 200,000 in profit, depending on.
Can you believe that?
I love it.
Yeah.
I freaking love it. How many people do you have on your team?
Just my sister. She does packages for me.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's just gone straight up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And when you see what he does with his money, that's the other thing. He's got, not only does he have everything fully accounted for, he always carries his laptop around with him.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you do with your money.
I reinvest 80% of it into the stock market, and then through the dividends, I drip, which just means that it reinvests the dividends that it pays me back into the stock market. So I normally just don't touch any of that. And then my dad helped me set up a solo 401k. So I was able to pay myself through that as well. So just trying to save as much as I can while I don't have as many expenses.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So when you buy your stocks, are you making your own decisions on which ones you're buying, or how are you doing that?
I can't take that credit. My dad loves doing that kind of stuff and kind of just took it over for me. But it's mainly.
But you give him the money and he invests for you.
Yeah, he pulls it out of my account and just does it for me, basically.
Well, you've got an online account. You track everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just out of curiosity, you've always been willing to share your numbers. How much you got salted away now? You just graduated. Okay.
I think with my car, around $250,000.
That you saved?
In cash.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Good job, brother. That's what I'm talking about.
You see why I like this guy?
Yeah, see why you want him on the show.
Yeah.
He's just amazing. Okay.
That's awesome, man.
And your plan now is to what?
Just keep on doing this because, I mean, whenever I was
Because it's rocket shipping.
a freshman, I only made like 30,000, and then it just keeps
Only
on.
made 30,000 as a freshman.
Doing this.
Yeah. And then
So where are you at now, though? Are you have you graduated?
Yeah, he
I
just graduated.
like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so in the last 4 years ago, basically, you're making 30,000 a year.
Yeah, I
doing
started as a freshman in high school, and then I was just making a couple $100, and then it just slowly kept on to where whenever I gave a presentation in your class, that previous year I did 100,000 in profit, and now it's gonna
In profit.
It's gonna
Is that
double.
after paying yourself as well, or are you considered like
That's paying.
that's his salary
yeah,
too, right?
yeah.
Or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Profit. Yeah, I got you.
I'm keeping all of the money that I get besides
Yeah.
paying my sister.
Yeah. Is she full time?
No, she maybe gets like 10 to 15 hours in.
Yeah.
Because she has to do like 120, 150 packages a week. So however long that takes her.
Where's your fulfillment center at?
I have 2 storage units in Johnson. That's my fulfillment center.
So tell these guys what exactly you buy. Now, I know you've been trying to push your average sale up, and you got it up to around $90 now, don't you?
Around there, yeah. It's like 80, but
Okay.
close.
So you figured out like you want to have an average sale that's higher. Is that kind of your point? You want to be able to sell more expensive things?
Yeah. So unless I want to hire somebody else to like take pictures for me, I have been sticking to trying to still find as many items, but just the more expensive ones, and not like if I had another employee that was taking pictures for me, I would pick up a lot more stuff to like fill up their time, which I'm starting to. So guy, like there's like niches in what I do. Like, so some people know a lot about like antiques. Some people know a lot about like name brand clothing or like electronics, which is mainly what I do. But this guy is like really, really knowledgeable in toys, and with some of the stuff I brought you, I'll show you. But he's just like really, really good at like, he loves playing with Legos and like doing that kind of stuff. So I don't have that patience to like build something and then sell it for 100, whatever. I can just take pictures of things that already cost 100 and I don't have to put any time into it. But he can, instead of just listing it all as a lot, like I brought a bunch of G.I. Joes from the 80s. And those are really good in lots. But if you individually put the G.I. Joe and you put the gun that it goes with it and like all that stuff, it just and sell them individually, the value just goes up a lot. So that's how I'm learning with him that I can make a lot more money off some of the stuff that I'm selling as well.
So show us some of the stuff you're selling.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's interesting.
So I went to this estate sale yesterday and spent $230. And we drafted everything. And there were 61 items, and it was $4,000 worth of stuff for 230 spent. And then I paid Cameron to mess with all these toys and take pictures for me, and paid him $150. So I'm all in like close to $400 for $4,000 worth, and that's like before taking offers and shipping, because I do free shipping. But some really fun like retro stuff.
Cool.
Show us
So
what you
see
got.
this. I remember back in the day playing with those things, man.
So this is pretty cool. You never see it in the box. This is just a Power Glove for the NES, and they're notorious for not working anyways. Like, this was a terrible product, but collectors love it. So like,
Still in the box.
yeah, just the glove itself, like if it didn't have the box and the manual and everything, would have been like $200 roughly. But since it had the box and everything, I'm gonna try to charge like $500 hopefully. But they only wanted $15 at an estate sale for this. That was 10 minutes from this location right here. And
What Jacob does is he mates up the demand with the item. The marketplace is so inefficient.
Yeah.
Like if somebody wants that, where are they going to find that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you sold it at a yard sale, you're going to get $15. But he's lucky to get $15. I probably would have charged $5 for it.
Yeah, totally. Or giving it away.
Yeah, or giving it away. I mean, if it didn't sell it by 2, it'd be like, here, you want a power glove?
And that's what a lot of people do. Yeah. A lot of people will either do that or just donate the stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's
and
what
then
we
I
do.
find it at the.
We just take it in boxes over to Goodwill or Potter House.
Yep, exactly.
But wow, that's a great find. So what else did you get?
So this is like a super old Atari system. I listed this as untested, not working for $200, just not knowing anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
has it sold yet, or you don't know yet? Right?
So I have like 150 things drafted on my store, and I try to list 15 things a day. That way, eBay promotes stores that are more active and constantly listing every single day. So if I listed all 150, but then didn't work for a week, then it wouldn't promote my items as much. So that's what I've learned over time.
Figured out a little bit about the algorithm. It's important.
He knows whenever he buys anything, he immediately looks it up and sees how many of them have sold.
Yeah.
So he gets a sense of the volume, the demand for it by looking at the quantity of sales of that item on eBay.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of these are Gen 1 Transformers from the 80s. This was all in the same bag together, and he was able to find every single piece and part that went with it. There was instruction manuals with a lot of them, so he's able to figure it out. But just this fighter plane, I think he drafted it for $150 just for this one little thing. And these were original GI Joes with their guns.
Those are mini GI Joes.
Yeah, so those came out in 1982 to 84 range.
Yeah.
But yeah, and each of these are different, but the lowest one's 20 and the highest one's 100, and I have 40 of these, and I was paying $10 for a bag of 10, and each of them are at least 20.
You just find a bag a bag of 10, and you're like, oh, those are GI Joes. I have a suspicion this is going to be worth something.
Yes.
You buy it, and then you go back home, and then you start investigating what you actually bought.
Yeah. So with Facebook Marketplace, I'm able to scout out garage sales and estate sales before time. So this estate sale opened up at 9:00. I woke up at 3:15 and was at this person's driveway at 4:00.
Yes.
With my chair and my girlfriend. I dragged her along with me.
So you're the first one there.
Yeah. The next person showed up at 4:30. And then there was somebody at 5:30, and then they slowly started showing up throughout the day. But I mean,
what do you do? Just sit? You camp in your car?
It felt weird. It was pitch black. It was in Bella Vista, or not Bella Vista, Bentonville downtown. So it was a moving sale, and they just wanted to sell everything that they had. And I've been to 3 estate sales before, and I'm slowly starting to learn that they're really good. So me and my girlfriend pulled up to this house, and I felt so weird setting up lawn chairs in this person's driveway at 4:00 in the morning.
You set up a lawn chair?
I thought I was going to get shot or something. I wasn't for sure. It was super sketchy. But yeah, this nice older couple came 30 minutes later, and we were just talking to them for 4 hours before more people showed up. But to camp out for 4 or 5 hours, then work for another 4 or 5 hours listing all this stuff to make that amount is pretty good. And this is very nostalgic retro stuff that is very, very in demand for people that my dad. I was texting my dad after I was super excited telling him about the sale that I went to and everything. And he was send me some pictures of some of these Transformers that you got, because he used to have some, and he had 3 or 4 of the ones that I had. Yeah. And so it's kind of the same thing with vintage clothing. People that went to the championship game want to have that shirt because they were actually there, and they'll pay me more than a lot of other people.
But you have no idea what these estate sales, what's going to be there, obviously.
That has been his primary vehicle in the past.
Mm-mm.
It has not been.
No.
Okay.
No.
You're just discovering this.
Yeah, I've only been to 3 estate sales. I mainly go to like citywide garage sales. So like Bella Vista had their citywide like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month ago, and there was 500 or 600 houses participating.
Good
so
Lord.
I brought like $2,000 or $3,000 and just tried to go to as many houses as I could for like 3 days straight, like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I spent all the money, but I got a lot too. I think for that one weekend, which that they do that every single year. So every single city, for the most part in this area, will do one citywide every single year. And so that's how I'm able to get a lot of inventory. But I think for the Bella Vista one, I spent like $2,000 to do like 8,000 roughly.
Nice.
But people like are just giving away stuff. Like I can find Carhartt jackets, Patagonia, like sweaters, whatever, for like $1 or $2 a piece and sell them for 50. So it's just like people don't want it anymore, or like they've lost 100 pounds and they can't fit into this anymore. And so they're trying to sell their old stuff. So it's just really good.
How many items do you have listed on eBay at any one time typically?
I currently have like 650 listed currently. And in the last 3 months, I've sold over 1,200. So my
eBay's still alive, bro.
It's alive and well.
My inventory completely flips over twice in 3 months. So I'm just constantly having to get this kind of stuff, because this is the stuff that if I listed this, it probably would sell before the podcast was over, like that kind of thing.
Dang.
What kind
That was a strong statement.
I know.
We can try it if you want.
It's cool. That'd be kind of a cool experiment. So, but this is a little bit of a departure for you. I mean, you were big on Goodwill bins. Mm-hmm. Is that still a big part of what you do?
Yeah. So
explain how that works for people, because I never heard of it until you educated me on it.
It's maybe a 5-10 minute drive from here. And basically what they do is they just push out tubs of inventory, like it's as big as this table, a tub with like rolling wheels, and they'll roll out like 8 of them at a time. And all the inventory is stuff that like the Goodwills tried to sell in their own stores for like absurd prices. They've started marking stuff up because they see resellers, but they don't like do product research, and like they just put like they see Patagonia, so they put $50 on it. And unless somebody's walking in the door and wants that exact thing, they're not going to sell it for even $20.
It's an inefficient marketplace. Again, the real buyer of that doesn't find that there, walking in.
Yeah. And
they're not
so that's what's nice about eBay, is because people are specifically looking for that item, and I can charge what the going market rate is for
you can put in the brand name that pops up in the results because your store's doing so well. eBay's like, this is a trusted seller. You get higher the results.
I once had a jacket that my dad gave me. It was a ski jacket. And it was the same jacket that one of the guys in Dumb and Dumber had on. Like Jeff, what's his name?
Bridges.
No, he wasn't in Dumb and Dumber.
Wasn't it Jeff Bridges?
No, Jeff, shoot, I can't remember. He was the guy who was on the TV news show and all that. Anyway, so I just put on their Dumb and Dumber jacket.
Yeah.
And I got a ridiculous amount of money for it.
It's
because somebody was searching for it.
And so there's another niche that people do is vintage clothing, and because that's like extremely popular with college students, and like I'm sure your daughter wants vintage clothing, like if she could.
Well, they wear my girls will wear like vintage rock band shirts.
Exactly.
And I'll quiz them too. Yeah. Like they'll walk in, one of them walked in with the Doors shirt. I'm like, okay, stop. Give me 3 songs by the Doors right now, where you need to take that shirt off and change it. I mean, they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, why do you have that on?
Because it's cool.
It's like, it was blasphemy, man.
I know. Jeff Daniels. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay, Jeff Daniels.
Yeah, it's like the AC/DC shirts, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are extremely popular.
I'm sure.
The original ones.
Thanks to Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
That helped. So these bins now, so they've got these, they bring out, you said like 8 of them every 20 minutes or something?
It kind of depends. It's normally around every hour.
And then people are just all lined up just to rummage through these things?
Yeah.
Like you?
Basically.
And how do they sell the product then?
So basically they push everything out, and then there's normally between 50 to 100 people like that are there at a time normally. So it gets pretty busy because most people want to look at the new product that nobody else has dug through. And probably 95% of it's trash, but there's multiple different people going for like, there's older ladies that have antique booths that they'll grab like house decorations and sell them there. Or there's people that sell electronics like me, or books, and there's just a whole bunch of different toys, that kind of stuff.
So how do they price that though?
So they pay by the weight. So basically, like if I found this, which I have found one Gen 1 transformer at the bins before,
okay.
But this would be like maybe 50 cents at the bins. But normally I'm grabbing like, I actually have some stuff that I got from the bins. It's just very, very random stuff that people want. I've sold this about 10 times and it doesn't look like anything really. But it's a kid's like car seat, booster seat. I don't know. It's something like that, but it sells for $40 and I probably paid like $1 for it.
What is it? You don't even know what that thing is and you're selling it?
Not really. It's a booster seat for the car, but like
it folds up.
I have like Dyson head, like this is $50. Sell the
freaking kidding me?
$50 because somebody doesn't want to buy a $500 Dyson to replace just one thing that's broken on their vacuum. So that kind of stuff.
And so you bought this by the pound then?
Yeah. So
like what do you pay by the pound? The camera?
It's like $1.50, $1.80 a pound. So this is maybe $1.50, something like that. Just random stuff like that is.
Can you believe that?
The kind of stuff.
Freaking awesome! I love it, man.
Yeah,
it's hustling, man.
It is.
It's definitely hustling. Now, what about pawn shops? I know you bought stuff from them.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Every time I go in one, the stuff all looks bad and it's all way too high. Yeah. You never buy it.
Yeah. So that's the kind of, I don't buy those like $40 or $50 items because the profit margins, like it's not worth the pawn shop's time to mess with something like that. So I'll be going after like things that they have priced for $1,000, like cameras or super high-end music equipment, like these kind of mics, like that kind of stuff that just costs a lot of money. And so it's kind of like Goodwill and like those kind of places where the only traffic they're getting is people that walk into their door. Right. So if somebody pawned this camera to them for $150 and they're trying to sell it for $1,000 and it doesn't sell for like a year, I can offer them $500 and they'll probably take it, and then I can sell that camera on eBay for $1,000 in a week. Like, so just where it's been sitting for them for an entire year, but just since I can sell online, it'll sell pretty quick for the most part. So that is how I make a lot of money on pawn shops, is just try to buy stuff that they've been sitting on, or it's on a really good sale.
So I don't understand like that kid's booster thing. Like this intrigues me. You don't know what that thing really is.
So I know,
you kind of know.
Yeah, like.
But then how do you sell that though? You just because you take pictures of it and people.
I don't know. Like, I didn't know looking at this bag that this was Dungeons and Dragons figures.
Yeah.
But there's this thing called Google Image as well, where you can just take a picture of any single item and it will tell you what it is. And so I just do a little research, or if an electronic has a model number on it, I can look it up and see how many are listed versus how many are sold in the last 90 days. And that just tells me the demand of the item and if it's worth my investment.
So if you buy that kind of stuff, like at the bins, you get back to your storage. And then you have to go do some research like you're just talking about. Do you end up getting rid of some things because you don't like it doesn't have any listings? You're like, oh man, that's actually trash.
Yeah. So like at garage sales, like the citywide garage sales that I go to, sometimes like I'm just trying to move as fast as I can because there's other resellers in the area that I know that are doing the exact same thing.
So you got some competition going on.
So yeah, exactly. And there's regulars at the Goodwill bins. We set up in a line like chairs and we just sit and just wait and we just talk. But for the bins, every single place is a little different. At the bins, I'm able to look items up because it takes them a little while to push out the next section, and I can do some research. And I normally just draft the items there. Most people are just like sitting around like talking, but I'm like drafting it that way whenever I get home because I'm there from 9 to 4 most days.
Drafting, so you're going like on the eBay, you're already
making his ad.
Yeah.
Making his ad, getting ready. That way you get home and start clicking.
All I have to do is take pictures whenever I get home. And then that way I can stop work around like 5, 6 instead of researching all those items whenever I get home and take a long time. But like at this estate sale, I waited from 4 to 9 just to get into the garage. And I was out of the garage in my car at 9:15 with all of this stuff. Like, so it only took me 15 minutes to get the stuff out. And then it took me another 6 hours with the help of my buddy to list all this stuff. And I like, this is just like,
it's just rando stuff.
You never ever see this kind of stuff. Like you never see inbox, Castlevania. Like this is over $100 game. Just in that condition. But if it was loose, just cartridge only, it would have been.
What do you play those on?
The NES.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Nintendo system.
Entertainment system.
Yeah.
Come on, Mark. Jeez, dude.
I don't know. I sold a PlayStation the other day. What model? Do you remember what model
it was? It was an Xbox.
Okay.
Xbox 360.
Okay.
So he bought one from you?
Yeah.
I went to his garage and bought some stuff.
I sold him like 4 or 5 bins worth of crap.
He's not going to tell you like how much profit he made.
I'm sure he'll make money on it all, but that's fine. I wanted to get rid of it.
Spy versus spy. Dude, that's so old school.
Yeah.
So you're even getting into motorcycle parts, like.
Yep. Just basically anything that people spend a lot of money on. I'm interested in. So as long as it's not medical. So eBay, there are some things that you're not allowed to sell on eBay. Guns or any medical equipment, because if I sell somebody a respirator and it doesn't work, then they can sue me.
Sure,
and I'm not trying to have that happen. So, but at the Bella Vista Citywide, I went to this garage sale and he had a bunch of Harley parts that he only used like for 500 miles and then decided to get new ones. I don't know what the deal was.
So
but
you just picked the Harley parts. You bought them.
Yeah.
Came back, researched it.
I did a quick lookup because he was asking a decent amount and I didn't want to spend, I think I spent like $1,000 at his garage sale. But I didn't want to spend that without knowing.
Where are you when I have my garage sales?
Right?
I'm sitting there all day and I made $400 or whatever. I'm like, this sucks. You know? Probably gave $5,000 worth of stuff away, but so $1,000 for the Harley parts. And how long did those take to sell?
So I sold one like trailer hitch attached to like an RV. That way you can have your bikes behind them or something behind it, tow bar. And I sold that for $1,000. So I made my money back just on that one thing, but I was selling like the wheels, like a front wheel to Harley sold for $800 and multiple parts just like added up to where it was just ridiculous.
Do you do commissions? Like, would you ever do commissions with people?
It just depends on if
what it is
worth it. Yeah. I haven't gotten into like any connections to like, let's say Canon or something was just like, hey, I want you to sell all my cameras that we don't sell on the floor, like buy it at cost and then I'll sell it. Like that hasn't happened to me yet.
Okay.
Buy it bulk, but it could happen at some point. That's sort of a natural
work
evolution.
With a supplier if like I didn't have to go anywhere and I just, if the margins were good enough for me to just do that.
Yep.
So your sister, like her role is, so you're doing all the picking. You come back, you take pictures, you do the research yourself, and then but your sister's just fulfilling. So you get the order in from eBay, and then she goes and grabs it out of the storage.
Yes,
and drops it.
She just called me 30 minutes ago and said that she got all the packages, and she's gonna do all that for me.
She load it up and take it to the post office and drop it.
Yep.
It's so simple. I love it.
But it's nice because she lives right across the door from me, so she can ask me whatever or be in her PJs doing packages instead of going into a workplace and doing the same thing. So she enjoys it.
It's a great business. It just blows me away that he does this. So why do so many people do so poorly at this? You think it's like, well, I've tried buying it. I made $500 a month, and I gave up on it. Had to go get a job at Starbucks.
Yeah,
what are they doing wrong?
The real reason on why people fail is because they don't understand the sell-through rate with the demand. So, like, you can look up an item, and if it's not selling, but like there's still like good value, like if it's a $100 item and there's 1,000 of them listed, but only 3 or 4 of them have sold in the last 3 months, that item's just never going to sell, or it's not worth what those people are asking. So people get excited and they'll buy stuff.
Like my Lady Di Beanie Babies or whatever.
Yeah, those actually, that's the funny story with Beanie Baby stuff.
Because I have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of Beanie Babies?
Yeah, they were from Christy and Anna when they were little. I mean, really, they're theirs.
But you sell them. Daddy makes profit.
I've got some precious moment. Lots of precious moments dolls. Wonder what those are worth. Little figurines.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My late.
They're not worth anything, but we'll be by later. We'll get them up.
We'll pick them up for a buck apiece. I sold one of them for $40. That's why it's stupid.
But with those Beanie Babies and also VHS tapes, that's like actually pretty interesting. They used to launder money through those on eBay.
That's why they were so high.
Yeah. So people would buy them thinking like, I can sell this one Beanie Baby for $1,000, but the only ones selling were certain people. And it was the exact same thing. Like, and if you did more research, you could see that exact same Beanie Baby being sold for $15, but like there were other comps selling for $1,000.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you really have to know.
Money through Beanie Babies on eBay.
Isn't that funny? It's like, I'm a drug
crazy.
dealer, man. I got to get some of this. I got to convert some of this into legit cash. So I buy my buddy's Beanie Baby.
Yeah.
That's inflated.
But that's that's how a lot
crazy.
of people fail at reselling, is because they'll invest a bunch of money and then their products aren't selling and they get discouraged because they don't know what they're doing. But that was the same way with me. Like, I very first started out selling video games, but it wasn't like these kind of really nice video games. It was just like your basic $10 to $60 video game that I could get at pawn shops. I learned that pawn shops would, instead of individually pricing out each game, they would sell every single Wii game for $3. And Mario Kart, somebody's going to pay me $30 for that instead of $3 for Wii Fit. Nobody wants to play a fitness game, like,
right.
But everybody wants to play Mario Kart because everybody likes that game. So that's how I learned as a freshman in high school, like, hey, I can make some money doing this. And then I started realizing after I graduated high school, like, there's so much more money to be made from that exact same pawn shop, but let me look at their cameras now and let me look at these other kinds of things.
You just kind of slowly graduated. Now you can kind of, so you got, it's kind of like your analogy earlier, like about real estate and a couple episodes ago. It's like, how do you know the real estate market? Well, you look at it every single freaking day.
Right. You see how long things are on the market. You see what they list for. You see what they sell for.
Yeah. And so
that's
now
what he's doing.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. You just know the landscape. You know where to go, what items are doing all right.
Yeah.
Are you worried that you're going to get yourself too far afield from what you know as you're strayed? You seem to have opened up the market for what you'll consider buying. Because before you were pretty much staying focused on electronics and other certain items, I guess cameras and things like that, right?
Yeah. I just learned that like taking risks are a really important thing. So like, for example, if these weren't legit GI Joes and I spent $200 on it, like it's fine because I would do the research and learn about why these were fake, and
you wouldn't make that mistake again.
Yeah, I'd learn from it and just move on. But that's just how I've learned. I watch so many YouTube videos of people doing the exact same thing that I do, and it's free information. They're putting that information out like, hey, just like this podcast. Like, I'm selling all these GI Joes for good money. If somebody watches this podcast and then knows that they have some up in their attic, they can make a quick $1,000 on all of their original GI Joe stuff. And it's just that information. I just constantly, instead of watching like sports or like that kind of stuff, I'm watching this kind of stuff. And I just learn, like, I just watched somebody on YouTube selling this exact same thing for this, and now I found it at the bins for 50 cents. Like, I'm going to sell this. Like, one story, there's this brand called Cutco. I don't know if you're familiar with that. And I had no idea about Cutco and how expensive it was.
Anything about them.
Yeah, they're legit.
So I was watching this video, and this guy was selling just a knife block to where you put your knives in.
Right.
For like $100, $200, depending. So there's like bigger ones that can hold like 40 knives, and those are worth like 400. And I had no idea about this, and I didn't even know that the actual knives sell for like 50 to $100 a piece per knife. And the very next day, I go to Goodwill, the outlet, same place that I source at, and there was a Cutco knife block sitting in there, and I paid weight on it, and it was pretty heavy. It was like $15, but I sold it in one day for like $300. And if I didn't watch that YouTube video, I wouldn't have even picked it up.
Yeah.
So I want to stick on that point real quick. Like, from an entrepreneur, like aspiring, existing, like you said something that to me that's really important. You don't watch sports. You don't watch other things. You're like watching your trade.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people get that, man. Like, you gotta infuse yourself. Like, you can't start a business.
Immerse yourself.
Yeah. You can't start a business and still go home at 5:00.
Yeah.
Watch the sports, eat dinner, do all these standard social things.
When I cut off at 5, I don't even look at my email until 8 Monday morning.
Yeah. Doesn't work for me.
But wait a minute, I should be making more money here.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do more if they pay me more.
That's right. That's called like, that's your corporate job mentality. It's just not being an entrepreneur.
It's not.
Entrepreneurs are watching freaking YouTube videos constantly, just freaking digging in the trade.
Yeah, and getting up at 3:15.
Yeah, bro.
So they get there at 4.
Hustling.
Okay.
Hanging out in a lawn chair.
How long is it going to take the typical 22-year-old graduate to get up to where they make $200,000 a year?
Dude.
I mean, think about it. I mean, most will never get there.
No. And I mean, another thing on this is like, since you teach entrepreneurship, right? There's a lot of people that have this aspiration to be their own boss, and I want to manage my own time. I want to make a lot of money, but they don't want to freaking hustle. That's what I love about your story, man. You've just been hustling.
He is. He's just a hustler.
That's how do you get $250,000 in your bank account? Freaking hustle.
Right. Not inventing anything new.
No. Infuse yourself and hustle. And don't watch sports and play golf.
And
I'm telling you, it's true.
It's not
I never played golf either.
No.
I played like 3 times in my life. Could it be fun to play golf?
Yeah.
It could be. I mean, it's nice. You're out there,
Dude,
takes too much time, though.
Back in my spider lands, man, all I did was work, man.
Yeah.
I worked like a dog, and I hate vacations. Hate them.
I understand.
You want to go on vacation? No, I don't.
I hate vacations too. I guess it's something with entrepreneurs.
It is, because you're always hustling.
Well, he's got a new model, though, that you are going different places, but he's doing his job. He goes to different cities.
And picks.
Yeah, I go to pawn shops. My parents are retired and they have an RV, so they just travel around. So it's kind of like a free hotel. So I traveled behind them with a U-Haul, and they went to Florida for 2 weeks, and I went to Florida and then like worked up to Nashville and came back and did that for 2 weeks. I just filled up a U-Haul and would take pictures in their RV and hang out with my parents at 22. I mean,
wait a minute, your dad's retired already. How old is he?
He's 46.
When did he retire?
Like a year ago. He was the head of technology at Walmart.
Retired at 45.
Love it.
God love him.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well
I did
done.
that too, but then it didn't last very long.
No, you can't sit still.
No,
dude.
you can't either.
No.
And he's not like, he's still taking these work calls. Like somehow Walmart convinced him to like still do
Be
something.
a consultant of some sort.
Yeah. So he's like doing meetings for like 10 hours a week and still doing pretty good. Just
good for
10
him,
hours.
though.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But see, he was a good role model for you. He knew how to invest his money.
He's very smart. And that's how like filing for taxes with something like this where I can't keep up with the amount of receipts that I have just because like I'm constantly buying stuff or paying cash at a garage sale. And like, how is the government going to know that I'm being 100% truthful unless like I log every single item that I'm selling? And he's just really good at like teaching me these kinds of things and like setting up spreadsheets and that kind of stuff. And then
show Eric your spreadsheet you have like on your sales and everything.
These back.
I think it's very interesting to just see how organized you are.
Which is another key to your success. Why other people probably don't do well.
Yep.
I mean, that's how you could easily, Jacob, become a hoarder in your business.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is what have you ever watched the show Hoarders?
Oh God, yes,
dude. So I mean, that's what they do. They go out and pick.
Did you ever?
But they don't ever sell.
Did you ever see my father-in-law's hoarding? Sonia's dad. Oh my God.
Was it bad?
He moved from a 10,500 square foot house into like a 1,700 square foot house.
Good Lord.
He had so much shit in there that you could barely walk through it.
Oh, that sucks.
Just case. And we thought we needed a dumpster, when he died, that we're going to have to be throwing all this stuff away. But it was actually all good stuff.
Yeah.
But he just priced everything too high. He thought he was a pawn shop. It's like selling lighters for $30. You can buy
and
it
that's
for $5.
That's another thing. People unless they're studying, they just don't know what they can have a price in their mind of what it sells for, but they don't know.
Always thought his shit was worth more.
You're focused on the market at all times. That's what's driving your buying decisions.
And I've been to garage sales like that where they think their personal items are worth way more, and then I just walk away.
Yeah, sure.
You can have it. Like you're never going to sell it.
Well, that's why he kept getting more and more. He's out there buying, but it's not selling.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just end up with a lot. You're a hoarder. Show Eric though. Show Eric how you keep your
This was
your spread.
My Florida trip that I was just talking about. How I just would put like the price. Normally I would have like a description, but this is just like a rough thing. But I'm able to do like spent versus what I listed the item for. So like you can see like some of these things I'm going to a pawn shop, spending $130 on one item to do $300, and then so my cost of goods was $9,800, and net sales would be $21,000. So it takes a while for everything to sell, but I've definitely sold almost everything, like 90% of the stuff. That's
freaking awesome.
There.
What kind of value of inventory are you carrying right now?
My 600. Let's see. It should be like 60,000 roughly.
Is that at cost or is that at retail? At what you're going to plan?
That's how much like value
Okay.
It's at 51. My entire store is at $51,000 worth of product
that you're selling at retail. Yeah. That's the retail value.
That's what I have everything listed at. Basically.
I got you.
Everything added up.
And what do you have in that? You think?
10 grand max, 5 grand maybe.
So where do you go from here? What are you going to do? What's the plan for the next 5 to 10 years?
just try to keep on scaling. Every single year is a new surprise for me, just because like I was talking to your class and I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to double, because every single year I can see like my numbers are basically doubling, and I'm like, I don't know how, like if it's even possible to double these numbers, but what I want to work on is the average sales price, and then it is on the track to double what I did last year, which was my best year. I sold 200,000 worth to do 100. And yeah, so I think the next thing could be kind of like hiring more employees so that way they can be taking more pictures, like bringing on more inventory, doing that kind of thing, or just like possibly getting into a different like field. I'm not really sure what I haven't planned yet, but
I like that idea, the average price per item, right? Because it seems like you can make more money with just the same amount of work. So you get the people in, now you're entering in a whole another realm. Management.
I agree. It's just you get the same number of transactions, you just make more money on it. I also like the idea of buying in bulk, though, because that's got to take a lot of your time. So instead of all the searching, you're just buying and listing.
Find a couple of good suppliers like you're talking about, right? And just take it off.
Get all the returns from Amazon out of somewhere or whatever. They throw tons of stuff away.
Yeah, a lot of these retail stores, right? I mean, I remember there was one back in the day that had actually asked me to help them, like just, hey, come by, put all our stuff online. We just want 20% whatever you sell it for or whatever, or some sort of base price. But that could be an option.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was taking a while to load, but you were asking about my numbers for this year. So for the last 144 days, I've sold 135,000 and netted after eBay fees and shipping 95. And I think on my spreadsheet, I've spent like 20 to maybe 25,000 for this year so far. So not too bad.
Yeah, not too good at all. So your girlfriend also does this. How is she doing?
Yeah. So
she met her at Goodwill Ben's or something. No, I don't know that again.
It basically was like that kind of.
I'm just saying.
So,
that was a pretty met her at the Goodwill Ben's.
Met her at the loading dock of Potter's house.
Met her
at
4 a.m. at somebody's
driveway.
In a lawn chair. Sorry, Jacob.
No, you're fine. So, like I was saying, with like niches, people mess with different types of categories and stuff. And it was like sophomore or junior year of college, I started getting into vintage clothes and would shop at the Goodwill bins and saw people doing that, but I was focusing on my electronics and didn't know that I could make money. Like I didn't learn about that yet. And I was watching this girl listing vintage clothes. She would model the clothes, so I knew what she looked like. And I DM'd her and was just like, hey, we should go on a thrifting date sometime and hang out.
Nice.
God love you.
Well done, bro.
That's
a great line.
Yeah.
Let's go on a thrifting date.
She ended
based on your Goodwill clothes modeling.
You and I are in the same line of work. That's good.
So she so tell us about her deal.
So she got laid off she was working at a pizza shop for a little bit and selling vintage clothes just on eBay or on Instagram on the side. So like other college people that followed her would buy like these things that she got at the Goodwill bins. And then once she got laid off, I started teaching her about eBay and how you're only picking up vintage clothes, but right next to that is a Patagonia jacket that you can sell, or Arc'teryx. It's something super expensive.
Do you sell that jacket I sold you already?
Yeah, I did.
Hell yeah. Sorry, dude.
What was that?
A Barbour jacket.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty high.
That's a high end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, would you just give that away? Or you just gave him that? Like he didn't.
I might as well have based on when I sold him all this crap for, but it doesn't matter. It's sitting in my garage getting dusty. And before that, it was in the attic of our old
why
garage.
didn't you just go put it online? You could have made some money on it.
But yeah, so I taught her about that, and she
So she does a lot of jackets.
She does jackets and just basically any clothing.
Uh-huh.
But that's also taught me now that I'm helping her like grab stuff. So we both go to the bins at the same time, and we're helping each other out. So she'll go to one section of the 8 and I'll go to the other. And we just basically, it's like having 4 hands, and it's just a whole lot better.
Don't you love that?
I love it, dude. It's all so good.
It's just so simple.
It's so simple.
It just blows my mind. But he does it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the
Shows
thing.
up.
Yeah.
Show up.
It is so much of business. It's just, you can have all your freaking coffee shop bullshit plans. Okay. But who does it?
Yep. And that's the same, like, who's waking up at 3:15? Nobody is doing that.
I am, but I've got a prostate condition. So I want to get up at 3:15, 4:15, 5:15. You know,
I would love to get you on video.
I was up early.
Getting up and seeing and hearing how
my
you
God.
act when you get up. Like, God dang it!
Well, first I'm like tripping over the dog that's laying next to the bed. Okay,
Right.
Now, fortunately, we have a urinal in our new house, and I could just kind of yeah, and it's got lights that go on automatically.
Have you been to his house?
No, he hasn't invited me yet.
When you walk into the bathroom, the light goes on over the urinal. Okay, so I can just kind of stand there and lean, and I don't need to like worry about
Stand there and leave.
Yeah, being overly accurate or anything.
or being more awake.
Yeah,
because you kind of half sleeping when this.
I really am. It's fantastic.
It's kind of weird. I mean, so you get up every hour.
No, I mean, it's really closer to like every 2 hours. Yeah, it's like I got a baby. Anyway.
Well, we were doing a podcast one time and you got hit by it.
I'm telling you, it's terrible.
Like we were doing a podcast. Mark, we were doing it online, right? There's a guy online. It was with the gents place guy.
I guess.
Yeah, and I was sitting there, we were talking, and you just saw Mark, he just gets up and leaves the podcast. I'm like,
well, I mean, I
don't know where he's going. You know?
I already had like 6 cups of coffee and 3 iced teas before I set foot in here. I mean, that's a problem.
That could be a driver for the prostate condition.
Let's get back to Jacob. He gets up and he does it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of doing it. And, instead of just going home and like, I think I'm just going to go to the game and get drunk all day and go out to the lake or whatever. He's out there just listing all the stuff, turning it into cash as fast as he can so he can go out and reinvest his money in more inventory and do it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I went to Dixon maybe like 5 times throughout college.
That's what everybody needs to do.
But it's just boring, in my opinion.
Well, and you're not building anything.
Yeah.
Like you're just actually you're hurting yourself, your body, and wasting time, wasting money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, man. There's not many people that can see that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think some of your titans in life are the ones that are driving like you are. You're going to be all right, bro. You're going to be all right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where he's going to go from here, but my guess tells me that there's going to be other opportunities that present themselves.
Oh, hell yeah.
And he'll be buying like train car loads of stuff at some point. Yeah. And making $10,000 a day. Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
It's just in his blood.
One thing I do have a question on your business, though, like the part that always kind of stops me is the postage. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you calculate that? Because you said you don't charge for postage on eBay. Are you just assuming you're just going to assume that fee? Because that helps you sell faster, obviously.
Yeah, I have shipped out like 10 or 12,000 items since I've been doing eBay. So over time, you just learn how much something is going to cost to ship out for the most part. Like, there's different shipping services. You have USPS, UPS, and FedEx. Just a bunch of like different ones that have different rates. So like if I'm shipping out a Dyson vacuum, I'm not going to ship that out USPS because that's mainly for like the lighter items like those GI Joes or like video games, something that's not going to weigh that much, and they can put a bunch of packages in their their car. But if it was FedEx, they mainly ship out like bigger items. So I would go through FedEx and I may sell the Dyson for $200 free shipping and pay $30 shipping, but it doesn't really, for how cheap I'm getting it, it doesn't really matter that I'm doing free shipping.
Yeah.
And I can include shipping with it or like charge shipping. I would just have to lower my price.
Yeah,
it's
that
kind
makes
of
it
like
more
worked in.
complicated. And I think that your buyers, your market, like they, it's just one less thing that they're going to have to deal with, right?
Yeah.
And they know they're not going to get charged more. I mean, I know if I buy online, and I'm always like, okay, add that to cart, proceed to shipping.
And then it's $20
$20 and then just exit out.
Yeah.
Right. But if it's free shipping, I'm more inclined to buy.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
have you ever really lost your tail on the shipping part? You have?
For sure.
Well,
yeah.
like, what was it? Like heavy items and stuff like that?
Yeah. So like sometimes, just like pawn shops, I'll have an item that sits for a year that's like just not a good buy. And, like, I forget the exact item, but it was a pretty big and expensive or like heavy item, and I didn't sell it for more than like $100. And the dude was in Puerto Rico, and it was like $110 to ship it. So,
But you learned, 48 continental states, right?
exactly.
That's now your mark. Like you chiseled that out. You don't do international.
I do international. eBay has a shipping program where you ship all of the international items to their facility in Kentucky, I think. I can't remember the exact state, but it ships out to eBay's facility. eBay's employees check out the item, make sure it's all good, and then they take care of all of that stuff. So they'll ship it to China to the person that actually ordered it.
Very cool.
And I'm not liable if anything happens
You don't deal with
after
customs.
it gets to the eBay facility.
Cool.
So that's pretty nice, and that opens up my market to the whole world instead of just America.
Well, that Rolls-Royce bearing removal tool I sold you may have to be.
That's gonna be.
Rolls-Royce
It's gonna be a
bearing
minute
removal.
before that ever
It may
sells.
end up going to England.
Yeah,
If you need any help with what vehicle that
What the
works
hell are
on.
you doing with the Rolls-Royce?
Because I
bearing
had 2
removal?
Rolls-Royces, okay?
When did you have 2 Rolls-Royces?
I just got rid of the last one probably a year and a half ago.
You never told me you had a Rolls-Royce. You never invited me to your house, and I'm your freaking co-host.
you had the stars on your
Sorry,
ceiling.
dude. No, I had old Rollses. I'm not into that.
Gotcha.
They used to be classy. Okay. Now they're like, hey, I'm a rapper. I've got a Rolls Royce. It's bright orange. Okay. No, that wasn't what I was into. No. My last one was British Racing Green with a beautiful, like peanut butter colored leather with dark green piping.
Oh, nice.
See, you are car bike salesman. Like you just like
Yeah, you totally could.
No.
Why don't you get into this picking game, bro?
I picked at real estate. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
That's my thing.
and you've had some pretty good buys this year.
I have. I mean, and they're still out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the thing. We're in a very inefficient world, and buyers and sellers don't always come together, and things aren't always presented well or merchandised well.
Yeah.
And so, Jacob can find things that people want, but that those who want them aren't finding them, and you put them together, and you take a decent photo of it, and you clean it, or you make sure it works, so you've improved it.
Yep.
And it's just such a great formula. It just works.
And you do all that. You'll clean stuff. You'll take. How about your pictures? Do you have any sophisticated process of that?
Just an app on my phone. The eBay app. I take pictures on eBay. It uses my camera, and I just.
Do you have
Does it cut it? Does it put it on white?
It can do that. I just have a table with lights that I take pictures on.
Just like with a white background, pop it.
Yeah, basically.
No shadows.
It just looks professional and not like it's on somebody's bed that they just threw up there.
Like the unmade bed with like a naked foot laying next to it.
Yeah.
It's always attractive. I've seen house ads like that where there's people sleeping in the beds.
Oh
and
my gosh. Are you serious?
toilets that haven't been flushed.
Oh, come on.
I'm serious.
That's terrible.
Yeah. But good merchandising,
Yep.
matching buyers to sellers, getting on the
Hustling.
right platform, hustling.
Get up early.
Yep. Being open to evolve.
Infusion. Focus.
Yep.
Relentlessness.
It's all good stuff. And so Jacob embodies all that.
It's awesome, man.
Which is why he's here on Big Talk about Small Business.
What a damn good closer that was, Mark.
So,
Jacob, how much do you think people should subscribe to Big Talk about Small Business?
I think people should. I'm going to start watching the podcast now for sure.
Hell yeah.
Good man. You should. We've got over 1,000 subscribers on LinkedIn.
Man, we've been getting a lot of requests to come on the show and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's really cool to see.
Yeah. But we still need that good sponsor. So if any of you out there are interested in a platform,
right,
we will talk up your stuff.
Shamelessly.
Big time. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, we do want to believe in the product or service that you're selling.
Right. Because who's the number one brand that we would never allow to sponsor us?
Who's the number one brand?
We've talked about it. Slack.
Oh, yeah. Slack. Oh, no. Yeah. We don't want that.
Who's Slack?
It's a terrible name.
The software where you communicate, Slack messages and stuff. A lot of companies
use that.
Yeah,
Eric and I don't like it.
No, we don't.
It's just one more platform.
Yeah.
What do we need? One more place to go.
No.
Okay. We don't need it. Nobody needs it.
No.
Let's not pick up the Slack, but let's pick up a good sponsor.
Like it.
All right. So, hey, everybody, thanks again for tuning in, and you'll hear from us next week right here on Big Talk about Small Business. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Big Talk about Small Business. If you have any questions or ideas for upcoming shows, be sure to head over to our website, www.bigtalkaboutsmallbusiness.com, and click on the Ask the Host button for the chance to have your questions answered on the show. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn at Big Talk About Small Business. And be sure to head over to our website to read articles, browse episodes, and ask questions about upcoming shows.